Maybe you recognize this. It's 3 a.m. in the morning, and you've got all of these questions racing through your mind. How can I become richer? What would happen if I made great investments? What would my portfolio look like over time? Would there be any setbacks? How would the journey look like? Which financial instruments should I consider? How do I get started? Should I get back to sleep? And then one day, I just stopped. What was happening here? What I figured is my hopes and my reality were too far apart and were causing me a lot of anxiety and stress. I got tired thinking about all of these questions. How could I get out of this cycle? And that day, when I stopped with all these questions, the answer dawned on me, clear as day. All I needed to do was to take action. Today, I want to show you the results of that action a few years ago, and I'll share with you how my journey to get this portfolio looked like. I'm choosing to focus on the P2P lending platform portfolio that I built up because it's the most recent portfolio, and I think it's also more interesting than a portfolio of stocks and ETFs, of which you'll find already plenty of examples on the internet. Hi, I'm Thierry, the Finance Hobbyist, and together with you, I'm on a journey towards greater financial freedom. The seeds of my investing journey were sown a long time ago. As a child, I saw within my own family how some people were just doing okay. Others were using their ground coffee for more than one pot of coffee and were just getting by. And others still were leading a comfortable, maybe even luxurious life. For a long time, I did not choose consciously which part of my family I wanted to emulate in my own life. I had some pipe dreams perhaps, yes, but nothing very intentional. And mostly I got lucky. I encountered some great people early in my professional career who set me on a good path. A first shift came in 2011, and it happened just completely out of the blue. You know how sometimes a person around you haphazardly says something random that just ignites a raging fire within you. And for me, this happened at a university where my professor for corporate finance just quipped about how easy it was for everyone to just set up a trading account with a stockbroker and start trading right away. And for me, this was a light bulb moment. I went home and I immediately made an account and I bought my first shares in the company. Agfa, it's an old dinosaur of the Belgian industry, and it doesn't really matter. It was an investment in my future as an investor. So it was a super important stock, even though I ended up selling it for quite a loss a few years later. And after that, for many years, I dabbled in stocks and bonds, but never took it really seriously. That changed in 2019. I just bought a house together with my partner and something clicked. Playtime was over. It was time to get serious about what I wanted to do with my future. And frankly, I was ready to become part of the rich side of my family. And I already figured that for this I would need assets that would increase my net worth. And to do this, I set up a strategy where I would target certain stocks and bonds on the stock market, but I would also diversify with alternative investment products. The options that I looked at were crypto, which I dismissed because I thought it was a complete circus and a casino. Second one was venture capital. There I figured that I would need far more capital to really make a difference and really invest properly. And the third one was P2P lending, which was a booming or starting to boom industry in Europe. So in August 2019, I made my first investment in a P2P lending platform. I selected the biggest one here in Europe, which is Mintos, with an initial investment of 500 euros. And I grew that to 2,750 towards the end of the year. My interest for that year was 37.95 euros. 2020, Early in the year, I invested an additional 500 euros on Mintos, and then COVID-19 struck society, shook me up as well as an investor, because I was wondering, with everything coming to a standstill, will the borrowers still pay back their loans? To minimize my risk, I stopped reinvesting when I got back from paid off loans into new loans. I've stopped that completely, and instead I started withdrawing my money back out of Mintos, out of the platform. I ended up withdrawing 2,437.52 euros over the whole year, and my interest that year was 147.86 euros. 2021. COVID-19 is still everywhere, and I continue withdrawing my money from the platform because I still don't trust it. Towards the end of the year, there are signs that the pandemic is letting up, and I'm reinvesting 200 euros onto the platform. My interest for that year amounts to 40.37 euros. 2022, I decide to pick up again where I left off with Mintos, and I start pouring money into the platform again. I have, at the end of the year, 4,925 euros invested there, and the interest amounts to 265.22 euros. But what is really key for 2022 for me is I understood that the lending industry had actually really weathered COVID-19 pretty well. And so I started looking at other options to diversify my P2P lending portfolio. 2023. Early in the year, I act on the research I was doing towards the end of 2022, and I opened accounts with 2 more platforms. And during the year, so this is the year where I'm filming this, 2023, and during the year, I opened 2 more accounts still with other platforms. What I'm looking for is platforms that have more robust systems still for protecting my capital and still deliver high returns. I find 2 platforms with a focus on real estate. Estate Guru crowdsources loans to real estate developers, and in that sense they act kind of like a bank. And what I do is they provide loans to those real estate developers before they would be able to get such a loan with the bank. So there's always a gap between when a real estate developer wants to start building something and when the bank would actually be ready with their offer. And so during that gap, they still need money, and that's where Estate Guru provides funds. They've been operating since 2014. They have a stellar track record, and they really take risk management and the protection of their retail investors very seriously. Over the year, I invest 1,840 euros in them. And so far, so now when I'm recording this, it's September still, I got back 66.23 euros. That interest number is a little bit skewed because of the nature of the loans that the platform works with. So quite a few of these are bullet type loans, meaning that it's a lump sum towards the end that gets paid out again. I'm expecting in the next few months more and higher interests. The second platform is FinTown. They allow you to invest in real estate developments and in rental units, and they're completely located in Prague for now. I think they want to expand to the rest of Europe, but right now it's all in Prague. And the differentiator is that they have themselves a 30% stake on average in the properties that they offer on their platform. So they have quite a lot of skin in the game themselves. And I opened my account just a few months ago. Right now I have 1,511.63 euros with them, and so far gathered 21.63 euros in interest. And next to the real estate platforms, I also took 2 platforms that work with markets, with loan markets, but have a slightly different approach than Mintos. First one is Robocash. They're part of the Una financial group, and they're just loan originators that are stationed within Europe and Asia, and they all operate as, as the name suggests, is one group. That's also the beauty of Robocash. It's only loans from within this group that are posted on the platform. And it also means that whenever one of the lenders in this group has difficulty recovering money, or just in general is under financial pressure, the rest of the group chips in to cover for that one entity. And that also means in practice that no one has ever lost money. So no retail investor has ever lost money via RoboCash, which is absolutely bonkers when you think of it. That is since the start of the platform in 2017. My account here amounts to 1,914.54 euros, and I've collected interest so far to the amount of 103.54 euros. And the second alternative marketplace for loans is Income Marketplace. Income Marketplace is very much the newest kid on the block when it comes to this kind of platforms. And the twist that they found in the formula is pretty interesting. What they do is they force each loan originator to also buy junior shares in the loans that they propose on the platform. That means that if one of the loans defaults, Income Marketplace then uses the capital to pay off the debts that they then have towards the retail investors. I think the system is ingenious. I hope it works. So far we didn't have to try it out yet. And so I invested so far 1,443.83 euros, and it netted me 33.83 euros for just a few months of investment so far. When you combine those numbers with my current total at Mintos, which is 6,767.09 euros, and interests of so far for this year 626.28 euros, yeah, it's quite something. So I started with 0 in this P2P portfolio in 2019. By adding small sums every month or so, I developed this whole thing to 13,477.09 euros, with this year alone 851.51 euros in interest. And when I look into the projections, what does it look like? I see a couple of milestones. In 5 years' time, my interests, my monthly interests, will be as high or slightly higher than my own monthly contributions to the portfolio. In 10 years' time, my aggregate interest payments from this portfolio will be as high or even higher than the money that I will have contributed to the portfolio. In 18 years' time, this will be double of what I will have contributed at that point. So the interest will account for 2 times the amount that I will have contributed already to the portfolio myself. I told you at the beginning that sometimes I would be up at night because of all these questions racing through my head. That worrying voice that was asking all of these questions sometimes still pops up, but it's much quieter, and it's also much easier to appease it. So what changed is me putting in place this plan, and then making sure that each month I would be executing against that plan with a small contribution. Now let's turn this to you. Maybe you are already investing, or maybe you're on the fence. Think for a minute, what would happen if starting today you would take such a portfolio seriously? What would happen to your life if every month you just chose a small percentage of your salary that you put to work for you in the portfolio? It's a bit akin to raising a partner with your best interests at heart. It's a pot of gold that you have to feed in the beginning yourself quite a bit. But that pot of gold has the potential to earn more than you could ever earn in your own lifetime. I'm not going to lie. I wish it were a sprint, so I could just focus in, double down, and just push in as much as possible and then just get it done and that's it. But that's not the way it is. I don't think it's even a marathon either. It's more like a long walk. And as you walk, you see that pot of gold turn into your partner which will always be there for you to help you out as you grow older. So I hope that this video encouraged you with whatever your ambitions are. If you'd like to get started, maybe check out these 2 videos. I think they might be helpful on your journey. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers!